question. With the NFL opening up the rules on the dance, what the first INT to the house gonna look like?
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. Got rings that go. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason and Win and a trip bet. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
First,
we the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Win and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Win and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
Route, man. I want to know, man.
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. There's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Win and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
What the first INT to the house look like?
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Win and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
I need to know, man, real quick, where did this come from?
Man, how are you enjoying your rookie? First, Cowboy, man. How do you feel about continuing that legacy of
we the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Win and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
2019 Dallas Cowboy season is only a few months from kicking off, but this year, let's do things a little different. Instead of just watching games at home or just going to a game, let's actually experience our Dallas Cowboys, just like West Coast does. Cowboys Experience is my one-stop shop for all my Cowboys game day weekends. Their packages are all inclusive, including 2 nights hotel accommodation. We'll pick you up and drop you off at the airport and game. Want to hang out and get autographs from current and former Cowboy greats like Drew Pearson? If you're ready to experience the Dallas Cowboys like no other, make sure you inbox West Coast or go to cowboysexperience.com today. The 2019 Dallas Cowboy season is... What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and we are live in the building. I ain't gonna lie, I'm live in the AKA the hot box. But you know what, Boss Cowboy? I love it when I'm in the studio and it's AKA the hot box, because you know what that means? That means that the summer is here and training camp is almost here. God dang it, man. So I love it. You gotta take the good with the bad, man. What's up with your Boss Cowboy?
Hey, what's happening, man?
Shee! Over here sweating, man. That's what we over here doing, over here sweating. But yo, man, let's say what up to some folks in the comment. Hey, let me know how the feed is going. Remember, you guys, whenever you guys get on the feed, always let us know where you're from and how the feed look, man. So E Kush, what's up with you? Leah said, what's good from Florida, but living in Eagles country, Pennsylvania. I know you probably like that Pennsylvania weather better than that Florida. I've only been to Florida one time. I was in Herbert Field when I was in the military for some training, and it was stupid humid. But I'm gonna be honest with you. By far, the place with the craziest weather I've ever been to in my life was Texas. Texas is the only place I've ever been, Boss Cowboy, where it literally snowed on Sunday. No, actually, it was 70. It was 87 degrees and humid, and then the very next day it snowed. I have never seen that before.
In Dallas?
Yeah, I'm never saying. I'm from Cali. We don't see that, bro. Like it's the same weather all day, every day, pretty much.
Yeah, Dallas weather is crazy like that. It's truly bipolar during certain seasons. That's a fact.
Like I'm gonna tell you, there's a word that I never knew even existed until I was in Dallas. I'm gonna tell you what that word is. Heat index. Bro, you have no clue what that is until you are in Dallas.
Well, I can say this, man. You know, about 2 weeks ago, we actually had on jackets. That's how crazy it is. We had jackets on in the summertime.
I know. It's weird. It's that global warming, man. Well, hey, man, with all this global warming and all this global changes and things like that, there's been another guy that's been going global at practice, man. And it's about to get real controversial. You know what I'm saying? But I just need y'all to hear us out, god dang it. Actually, this is what I need y'all to do. I think we need to do this, right? I think everybody need to go look in the mirror. And if you don't believe that Dak Prescott is going to get better, you're going to have a long offseason. Why? Because you're not going to be able to even understand or solidify that thought until week 1. So you're just going to be pissed off until then. I just want to let you know that. But if you are under the hopes that a man can get better at whatever, no matter how good he is, if you feel that a person can get better, then guess what? This is the show for you. All right? Because I heard something, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, I hate it when we find these tweets and we put these tweets out, and then people say, "Oh well, you guys, well, what is he supposed to do? There's no defense." But Boss Cowboy, I'm gonna just be honest with you. These are the same people who was mad at Dak Prescott when these same people was telling you that he didn't look good at practice. So when he does look good at practice, you kind of gotta take that in some consideration, right?
Oh, no doubt, man. Back with some of our fans is nothing is going to be good enough. They're going to stay offended at them. It's a lot of different reasons for that fact, but that is a fact of some of our fan base, and we just got to accept that.
All right, let me go ahead to get to reading this tweet. Now, John Makota, I am actually, you know what? I'm getting John on the show. I'm putting it out. I want to try to get John on the show because we use a lot of his material, and John is obviously the plug. Because John is at practice, and John said that Dak Prescott's deep ball was sharp today in team drills. Found Amari Cooper near the left side for roughly 35 yards, and then hit Reggie Davis. I'm going to have to find out who Reggie Davis is. Because Reggie Davis out there making plays. I don't even know. I didn't know who that was when I heard that. So. And he also hit Reggie Davis for a touchdown of about the same distance along the right sideline. I mean, Boss Cowboy, when you hear that, man, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts, man?
Not surprised, because that's always really been the case with Dak. Dak has always been really good in his deep ball accuracy. He's been top 4 in deep ball accuracy since he's actually been in the NFL. Literally from day one all the way to his last game playing, he's been top 4 in deep ball accuracy. The only problem is that we didn't do it enough. Some of that maybe could have been on Dak, to where he could have checked out of plays more, and should have, just like Cooper had to talk him into checking out and checking into a deep ball fade.
And
but
Philly,
most of that
against Philly.
Yeah, against Philly. But most of that, I would say, was on our play calling, because the person that was hinting to his dissatisfaction with our willingness to even take deep shots was Cooper. All you have to do is go listen to the interview after the Redskins 2, and go listen to the interview after the Philly game, where he was a little bit complaining about play calling. And the very first words out of his mouth is, we was running stop routes and slants pretty much all day. So I had to kind of vary out the different ways I was running that route, because we just kept doing it. He was throwing out hints all day that was our philosophy, which to a degree you can't even blame Scott Linehan, because that was our philosophy, right? Clock control, long drives, keeping our defense rested. That was our philosophy, but we didn't test teams enough. And one of the best things that I read today was from Sanjay Lal, where he said, you can't make the slant route believable or the stop route believable unless you're effective at the deep ball.
That's very true, because a lot of those routes, and another thing about it too is, even if you choose to not throw the deep ball, it needs to be on your choice. I don't ever want to be in a position where the Dallas Cowboys aren't doing it because they don't feel that they are like that we're not able to do it. Because when you don't feel that you're not able to do it, then guess what? Defenses are going to play you different. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm a safety, and even if my coverage says I got deepest man deep, you know what I'm saying? If I don't believe that you're really going to do it, that's going to give me more reason to play up just a little bit. Yeah, it's going to look like I'm playing deepest man deep, but on the end, I'm also playing a little up. Why? Because I don't feel that you have the ability, nor will you take the chance to do it. So I'm going to be honest with you, this is my thing, right? I'm under this impression. The same people last year who was telling me that Dak Prescott didn't look very good at this point in practice are now saying that there are certain things that the things that I didn't like about Dak Prescott, I'm hearing that he's improving, or that those things are being highlighted upon. Now, I actually got that tweet up. I'm going to pull that up right now. But my thing is this, man. My thing is this. If you are a guy and you're looking for optimism, imagine what you have in Dak Prescott right now. And imagine if they just added, no matter how good you think it was, no matter how good you think Dak Prescott, good or bad at throwing the deep ball, imagine if he is now able to add something like that effective to his game. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've seen a lot of, two things that I've heard or seen come out a lot with Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you what they are, Boss Cowboy. One, I see a lot of pictures of him running the ball, and I see a lot of plays of him throwing that ball and getting that ball out of there. So within that right there, I already know my offense is going to look somewhat different. Just off that, I know my offense is going to look somewhat different. So I'm going to be honest with you, on June 5th, 2019, I'm encouraged. I feel good. That's what's good. What's your thoughts last on that, Boss Cowboy?
Well, when it comes to Dak deep ball accuracy, I do understand where the false premise came from that he's not accurate in the deep ball. It's because Dak has struggled when guys was just wide open. It's almost like Dak is wired to where when it's hard, that's when he at his best. When the guy is like shoulder to shoulder with you, he'll drop a dime in there. But when you just wide open, those are the ones that occasionally he has missed, and that's why the narrative was built. But if you look at him just in his total, right, like even the same game, everybody talk about that one play he missed Gallup, right? But you got to realize that he hit Gallup 3 times with over 20 yards that same game. That same game. So 75% you actually hit it's the one that you remember because it was the last drive, you know? So I think some of it is kind of locked into our memory because it was the last thing we saw.
That sounds like Tony Romo-ish.
I don't know how. I don't even know how Romo.
That's all I'm saying. Because Tony Romo throw for 500 yards, but we're not going to do that.
Bring that up.
We're not going to do that. Go ahead, Boss Cowboy. I apologize.
Because it's a little bit different with Tony Romo. But anyway, the thing is that that's the last thing you saw, similar to Heat. In the Rams game, similar to what happened in the Rams game with our defensive tackle. So going into the draft, the fan base was saying the two top needs was safety and DT.
They were saying
also
DT.
because how we finished.
Yeah.
It wasn't according to the whole season.
I can agree with that. I 100% agree. 100% agree. It was because of that one game. The Rams, because of the Rams game. And, well, think about this. When you think of the worst conundrums or the biggest, like, foobarbs of 2018, you think of what? You think of that Rams game, and you think of that Indianapolis Colts game, because those are the two games where the Dallas Cowboys did not look like the Dallas Cowboys. We did not.
Yeah, because let's just kind of.
So I get that.
Let's just go through it a little bit, even just using our memories. What did Dak do deep ball wise versus the Giants game one? Torched them.
On the he had on the first drive of the, I think I have the feeling that he was probably throwing it to Zeke, but Tavon ran under it. Either way, he hit him on the sideline.
That's the Texans game.
That was the Texas game, yeah.
I'm talking about the Giants game.
So then that first game, that was Tavon. That was Tavon on the first
he beat him deep 4 times that game. Same thing happened in Detroit. We beat him deep 4 times that game.
Yeah.
You know, but we forget. Right? We really forget. He beat the Jaguars deep 3 times.
Hey, listen to this quote. Kellen Moore. Now remember, guys, if you were under the impression that that a human being cannot improve on anything that you feel that was wrong, because this is why on Dallas Cowboy Scouting, we're not gonna look past the fact that there are people that they might have some legitimate claims. You know what I'm saying? But what we're saying is, a part of having legitimate claims, we also see some progress. All right? Kellen Moore said on Dak Prescott's deep ball, he's simply gotten better because what we've repped it more, and he's repping it more. Most importantly, in the offseason, you get some more speed guys that have been repping it, and I think you're headed in the right direction. Think about this, the right direction with him. Think about this. Amari Cooper, big play guy, right? Then you pull in a guy, Cobb, who's also a big play guy. But think about this. Our receiving core is not going to really require Dak to even really throw the ball like really deep out there, because he has guys that can all win at the point of attack. You know what I'm saying? So not only is your scheme getting better, but if Dak is if he's able to see these guys and get the ball, man, you're going to naturally have an explosive offense. And to be honest with you, if you guys saw Kellen Moore's interview today, that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. The goal of our offense is to be explosive. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel that it's the explosive plays that set them up on the drives, because you can't, you can methodically just go down the field, but I don't think the Dallas Cowboys feel that they have the team that can consistently go down methodically and continue to do it. I believe they can, because we had it in 2016. You know what I'm saying? But now a large part of their offense is going to be developed over the big plays. And be honest with you, if you look at Randall Cobb, even though Aaron Rodgers was really, really big on deep balls, Randall Cobb is known, man, for the exact same thing Amari Cooper's doing. You know what I'm saying? And that is taking intermediate passes and taking them to the house, man. I love the statement. Boss Kev, I want to have and since we're talking about receivers, man, I want to have a really interesting conversation, man.
Well, I want to go into receivers, dude. Before we do,
you got something else? Go ahead.
Just real quick. A couple of things, actually. First, Al Carlson saying, man, it's 35 yards a deep pass. Why does that sound a little light?
That is considered a deep pass.
Anything over 20 yards
is a deep pass. Anything over 20 yards is explosive. Anything over 25 yards is in the NFL concluded an explosive play too. That's how bad they're hard to get.
Yes, that's considered a deep ball. Now, from your eyes, I see what you're saying, Al. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But when the chains are just 10 yards and you chunking it in terms of a chunk play, 20 yards? Oh, yeah, we going to take
Bro,
that
think
all
about this.
day.
Think about this, Boss Cowboy. 35 yards from pretty much anywhere on the field, unless you're on the goal line, you're on the other side of the 50.
Oh, yeah. So, and that's
So
something that a defense
anywhere,
have to
yeah,
respect.
that's huge.
Now, one thing, can you go right back to that Kellen Moore real quick?
Got you, Eric, got you.
Yeah, because one of the things that I wanted to really highlight and
All right,
really
it's
put
up.
down is he said something that was key. He said, simply, we've improved because we have repped it more.
We've mean us as a family.
Coaches. So that's a slight dig at our past. That's not looking at Dak. That's saying we didn't do it enough in the past. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he's saying we putting it on us. We didn't prepare Dak enough in the past. I'm just reading the quote. He's simply gotten better because we, who is we? What is he a part of?
The Dallas
coaching
Cowboys.
staff. Yeah, it's the coaching staff. We, who sets up the reps? The coaching staff. We've repped it more, and he's repped it more, most importantly, in the off season. So that's something to be hopeful for. Believe it or not, it's some people that's angry at this report. They want to hang on to Dak suck. It's like that's all people want to hold on to. Dak suck. But no, you got to look at it. He had a week to jail with his number one and accomplished it. So we are now mad and angry that he has an off season to now perfect his craft with a few of his best. This time last year, he was throwing that at committee, at least 6 or 7 guys. Ask yourself a question. Is it harder to master 6 or 7 or 3?
Shoot, not even 3. He really only got to master 1. He got to master Amari Cooper.
And
everybody else has to master him. Hey, think about this. He has to master 1. Everybody else got to master him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Amari Cooper at $14 million is the only one that he's really required to, like, make sure gets the ball.
Yeah, that's the one you got to know.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, everybody else better be open.
know Cooper like you know your son or your daughter.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's the one, and you can see that from Romo's and Dez's offseason.
Yep.
That's why when he was 4-1, he had the confidence in the playoffs to throw a deep ball at a high point because they did it
all season. Hey, what did Dez say? Dez said they threw that pass so many times that he literally asked Tony, like, is there anything else that we're going to practice on?
Thank you.
That's why they went, because they were confident in it. Go ahead.
And before we switch to receivers, my boy Ken said, I don't want him to throw 30 times a game, but if we need him to throw any game to win, we need to rep that too. And I agree. I think he said it perfectly. Because some games, I think you do want Dak to throw it over 30 times a game. When you go into the Redskins, I want Dak to throw it.
Yeah.
Because the front is built for us. The entire 7.
Yeah.
The entire 7 is hand-built to counter us, and they did a good job of building that. We just got to give them credit.
Yeah.
So on certain games, we want to put it and lean on Dak. On other games, like when you go against Detroit,
should run the ball.
We should run the ball.
You play against Jacksonville, you should pass
it
them.
Depends. And I just really hope that we move it into a flexibility type of offense, not a one-size-fit-all type of offense to where we run the ball. I don't want us to always be, we want Dak to always be on the 30. Now, sometimes we want Dak to be over 30. Just sometimes we do. It just depends on who we're going against.
Yeah, and Bubba says he got to master Gallup too in case they double Cooper. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a good point, but I'm gonna say you like this. I still feel that falls more on Gallup than Dak. You want to know why? Because if they're doubling Cooper, that means that Gallup got a third receiver on him now. He got he has an intermediate. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're gonna break him on a different side. So I mean, that means when Gallup gets these, and that's another thing too. That's actually what we were going to talk about is this. When Cooper, because I think now that Cooper, part of your game plan as a team playing the Dallas Cowboys has to be to take Amari Cooper away. Like, you have to. Like
Got
that,
to.
if I'm a team playing the Dallas Cowboys, is put 9 in the box as often as possible to take Zeke away. Then they're gonna say, okay, what are you gonna do to the offense? Well, we're gonna take Amari Cooper away. So that's actually a really good thought, and that actually leads into our next kind of conversation, because something else that I'm also hearing out there is my boy Cobb is balling. And Gallup, he got drafted last year, so I kind of understand that he's gonna be where he is. But I think wide receivers 1, 2, and 3 are kind of set. But I think it's wide receivers 3, 4, and 5. I think we only kept 5 receivers last year, right?
I thought we kept, man, don't quote me, by 7, I think, bro. I think we went receiver crazy last year.
But I'm saying as far as active on game day, you know what I'm saying? Because there are some, because like a guy like the reason why I say active on game day is very, very important, because there are some players who are not eligible to go to practice squad. So like Allen Hurns, he couldn't go to a practice squad. He's either going to be active, he can be inactive, but think about this: if he's inactive, that's $5 million sitting on the sidelines.
Fact.
So it's like a guy like Allen Hurns, like he doesn't have like the same like give like a Cedrick Wilson. Like honestly, Cedrick Wilson, his goal should just be making the team. You know what I'm saying? If he can make the team and be active a few games, good job. Allen Hurns, bro, he has to actually make this 47. Because if he's inactive, that's not good. So I want to know, man. I want to know if we keep 6 wide receiver, because LaDennis Kelly said that's 6. I asked what y'all number is. If we keep 6 wide receivers, I definitely believe we'll keep 5, because you're gonna go 4. So let's say 6. What are your 6? What are your 6? And not even what are your 6? What are your 3? What are your 3 guys that are kind of on the bubble?
Okay. You have to put Noah Brown on the bubble, just because his production was bad, receiver-wise. Now, I still see them trying to be creative on ways to use Noah Brown. I even heard that line him up at tight end and stuff like that. Like, look, I'm waiting on the genius West Coast. Maybe you can explain it to me. Maybe we should have the OC on to explain the genius of having a guy that's really primarily known to being a blocker as a receiving threat. I'm just waiting on the genius of that logic. I'm still waiting on somebody to explain that to me. So to me, he would have to be one. Another one that would have to be on the bubble is Hurns. And it's not that Hurns is a bad player. I think what happened with Hurns is you have to be prepared to lose him just because of the ankle. Look what the ankle did to Dez Bryant. Yeah. Look what the ankle did to Terrence Williams. Those was I'm
more scared on that than I'm more scared on Terrence, because Terrence wasn't nearly as old or had that. Terrence had never missed a game. He never missed a game.
Exactly, he never missed a game. And I always say this: ankles to a receiver is like a shoulder to a quarterback. You make your cuts using your ankles.
Yep.
You know? And so if you have any kind of hesitation in your ability, even in your ankle, that gives that secondary player, whether it's a safety or corner, that much more confidence and an added edge when going against you. So I'm not saying he can't, but I would be surprised if he's as explosive coming out of that gruesome injury. So he would, to me, also have to be on the bubble as well. And then it's just kind of wide open. Then obviously Devin Smith, because he actually had the name coming out of college. He had the explosiveness.
Second round pick.
He also had an ACL.
Second round pick.
Yeah, a second round pick that was really known for his vertical game. He will probably be on the bubble because nobody really kind of lobbying for him. So, and then you got a lot of cheap guys that's good.
Like Lance Lenore, what the hell is he doing with his life?
Lance Lenore got to be on the bubble because also he messed up too many times on special teams. How many bonehead plays did he do?
And think about this, Boss Cowboy. Something that we're not filtering in is what guys have a get out of jail pass in their back pocket too. Because I think Allen Hurns has a good get out. And when I say get out of jail card, what I mean is a player who I think who it might be more beneficial to let them go, but because of the relationship that they have with the Dallas Cowboys or with the team, whether that's be good or bad, we feel that they'll be here. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I love y'all know I love me some Allen Hurns, but if the Dallas Cowboys were to make a aggressive move on him, as much as I love me some Allen Hurns, I would understand.
It's $5 million.
Like exactly, I would understand. So it's like Allen Hurns is kind of in the same position where Tyrone Crawford is now. Tyrone Crawford gives me hope. Want to know why? Because Tyrone Crawford should have took a pay cut 2 years ago. Now Tyrone Crawford is worth his money, but 2 years ago he was not. You know what I'm saying? He's worth it now.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I like how they playing it though, because Tony said with his injury he does deserve one more year. I wouldn't quite say a year. I would at least say a chance to compete.
Can I ask you a question? Can we please, there's some words that we have to eradicate out of our football definition. And I'm going to be honest with you, deserve has to be one of those words. Because there's nothing in football. Like if you say, does Dak deserve this money? Like it's so variable. People can say, no, they don't deserve. Deserve is so opinionated. You know what I'm saying? It's so opinionated. You know what I'm saying? What do the numbers, what do the production say about said player? You know what I'm saying? Because there are players that do not deserve to be on this team. And there are players who deserve to be on this team and who are not. They're just not.
Right.
So I get scared when people say deserve. Like, what do you deserve? What do you?
Because I have to look at the production, and I'm a numbers guy as well as an eye test guy. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes my eyes can be biased, and sometimes you need the numbers to confirm whether you're either being biased or not biased, right?
Yeah.
So I try to use both. But when you look at Hurns and his average separation, and all you got to do is Google it, his average separation per target was 1.6. The average separation for the whole receivers in the first 8 games was 2.2. Guess what we was ranked in the first 8 games?
31st.
Sorry, 32nd.
I knew it was 31st or 32nd. I mean, think about this. We actually were worse.
What I'm thinking about is what we was projected to be.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We actually got worse. They projected us to be better, and we were worse than what they projected. We were worse than what they projected.
Yeah, Bleacher Report projected us as the 31st receiving corps, right?
Yeah.
We actually, after 8 games, performed worse. And the person that brought it down was Allen Hurns and Thompson. So when people say, you know, I think he can play all over, what's the evidence of it? Like, what's the evidence of it?
Exactly.
Like, I think he plays a great number 4, a great number 3.
But you don't pay those.
That he can play a number 1.
Yeah, and you don't pay those guys that.
We saw that. We saw that the first 8 games, and it didn't happen.
Yep.
You know, he was his best with the Jaguars as the number 3 and the number 2. You know? So some of these things that sometimes leak out from front office, you can tell that they have a liking of certain players. Like you said, some people might stay because we like them. But all I want is real, just competition.
Yeah, and think about this, boss. And think about this, like, also, think about this. Something that might save Hurns, too, is his willingness to restructure that money, too. Because, like, the Dallas Cowboys never said anything about asking Allen Hurns to take less money. But his attorneys said that he felt that the Dallas Cowboys were going to come and ask him to. So you know what that said to me, Boss Cowboy? It almost sounded like Hurns was putting it out there. If I have to take less money, I will. That's what it kind of sounded like that he was putting out there. Because let's just be honest with you. The Dallas Cowboys, and I love me some Hurns. That's my matter of fact. I love me some Hurns. But let's just be real. You didn't sign Hurns to be the entree. You signed him to be the full meal. So now that he's not the full meal, you're not going to view that $5 million the same way you viewed it when you were thinking, oh, we're going to save money because we don't have Des Bryant paying him $12 million. So you never envisioned Hurns being your third, and to be honest with you, realistically, he's not even your third. Like, realistically, he's not your third. At best, he's realistically your 4th, maybe even 5th. You want to know why? Because there's one guy named Jason with him. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's going to sneak his little sneaky self in there somewhere. So realistically, you're playing for production. $5 million to be maybe 4th or 5th, bro, they didn't want to give that to Beasley. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and
No, totally. Like,
I love me some Hurns, but I hope that's why I hope that I ain't gonna lie. I hope the favoritism bug get him, and then I hope he play really, really good so that we can be like, yeah, they did show him favoritism, but he came through for it. That's what I'm hoping.
And then we also have Cedrick Wilson, right? Since we're talking about receivers, I'm glad they repaired his shoulder, right? Because he acted up at Boise State.
Yeah, he did. And you know we love Boise State boys. You know we love.
And Boise State usually come through for the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, where our OC come from?
I mean, Boise State.
So you're saying our OC came from Boise State and Cedrick?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and we got too many Pro Bowlers and all. You know, we got a lot of good coming out of Boise State. So the Boise State track record from Jason Garrett and all the players, when you look at all the players over the years that have been Boise State guys, and that's why we shouldn't even, I'm making a switch here, that's why a lot of us way too fast to count out George, our local.
Oh yeah, hey, I was actually gonna read. Do you see E. Cush's, while I get this up, you see E. Cush's comment right there? Can you go ahead and read that for me? Because that's gonna segue in what you about to say. Go ahead.
People told me I was crazy when I said a local would not replace Heat. So fast to hate on the man. Oh, okay. Well, you know, it's early. Like, we judging in OTAs, shirts and shimmies. Now, we really want to wait till the lights come on, right? That's what we really want to wait on, when those pads really break out, you know? Because they starting that season with the safeties right now being Heath and Woods, that's kind of like how you usually do it. You go into the season and say, these were our starters from last year. Everybody that want their jobs got to take it.
Yeah, that makes sense, because like that. Hey, can I say something too? Can I say something right before we go into this next subject? Tony P, to my boy Tony P, and he's my boy Scout. My apologies. My Scout Tony P says we've been repping it more. Oh, I love that statement. I'm gonna be honest with you. In life, if there's ever a problem that you have, when someone asks you how did you fix that problem, and you answer it with, we fixed it because we've been working on it more. Hey, I'm all in. Like, all I can do is say, you know what? Well, I got to see the actions. That's the only thing you can really say, right, Boss Cowboy? If you came to me and you asked me, West Coast, man, I let you cut my hair, man. Look at my hairline all back out here, man. Like, come on, man. And I tell you, Boss Cowboy, look, bro, I apologize, man. Look what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to practice more. I'm going to cut more heads. Like, what would you think about me? You would think, okay, at some point, you're going to get better. That's what I would think.
I would also think at some point you're acknowledging that you wasn't what you should have been.
That's called a self-inventory. They teach you that.
That's a self-inventory.
I ain't going to tell you where I learned that at. Cheers. But that's called a self-inventory.
that's a self-inventory. So, I mean, that's a beautiful statement. And it's I love that he took responsibility. He didn't push it on that. He said he is better because he's working in the offseason. But we are better because we repping it.
Because we are practicing it. So it's not his. And remember, I got to say this real quick, man, because I kept screaming this about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, if Dak Prescott is going to be your project, then you need to take ownership of your project. Any problem that he has is not his problem. It's our problem.
Yeah. And we got to say he's been
like, you can't just put that on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know, so shout out to everybody, the front office, Jerry, Steven, Will, Kellen Moore, Kidner, everybody that's all collectively said, if we want to see improvement in that area, we're going to work on that area.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's exactly to your point. My last couple of receivers that I want to bring up is the undrafted free agents. I know we're not sleeping on them because a lot of the Dallas Cowboys fan base are very open to these guys. But like, since you're talking about the final 3 roster spots, I'm open for John Villa Johnson and Jalen Gutton.
I heard John is the Lance Lenoir, because Lance Lenoir has been basically like, people been wondering why Lance Lenoir has been on this team and hasn't left this team and keeps getting a shot, because at practice he always looks like the best wide receiver on the field. Like, and from what I hear, John is that guy. He's and literally Nick Eatman called him this year's Lance Lenoir. That's what he called him. He said he's this year's Lance Lenoir. But guess who he's not making plays against too, though? I want Byron Jones.
Well, you know what? We're supposed to talk about my article. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I did wanted to mention something.
Mention it.
Just to get Lance Lenore back a little bit.
I like Lance too.
Well, because I got to get pretty much everybody back that seemed like they didn't really get an opportunity, right?
The doghouse, the dog pound.
Exactly. Yeah,
the Dallas Cowboy dog pound.
I was called a conspiracy theorist because I was looking at the tea leaves, which looked like we had some personal stuff going on, especially when you acquire Brice Butler. Everybody know Brice Butler and Dak had a pretty good chemistry.
They were really good friends too.
That.
Real good
but
friends.
Then when you get them on a team, you're only giving them maybe 1 or 2 snaps a game.
Yep.
Right? So I'm reading the tea leaves of this and I say, man, this looks petty. Right? This don't look like sound X's and O's and personnel decisions. This looks like we brought you in, but the front office wanted you. I didn't want you. You know what I mean? Scott Linehan, I'm saying. At the end of the season, and I put this in my last article, you can't call it a conspiracy theory anymore. If you do, you just choosing to drink the front office Kool-Aid. I'm not going to drink Jim Jones Kool-Aid. I know it's poisonous. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things to where...
It's like if you think Oswald was the only person involved with shooting Kennedy, like, come on, bro.
Right. It's certain
like,
things,
on,
like, certain things just don't add up.
It just don't add up.
I'm not a bad fan because I question it, right? So one of the things that came out which totally killed the conspiracy theory and everybody that wanted to lay in bed with Scott Linehan, right, and Jason Garrett. He came out through James Slater. She said this, and I quote, that she talked to the players and she believed front office talked to the players, and they said to her as well as to the front office that if you wasn't a Scott Linehan guy, you played less. Quote. So, I always wanted to do this on the show, West Coast. We never got around. So, since the players believe that, who would be some kind of top candidates to kind of be in that doghouse based on reps?
I would say, if you're just talking about offense,
yeah,
I would say offense. I would say that Brice Butler was the first person. Because the reason why I say Brice is because I don't think Scott Linehan wanted Brice. And more than anything, I think Scott Linehan, this is my thing with Scott. I think Scott was the type of person where he didn't like you telling him maybe something that was like he didn't like, it was like, those people that are like, if they don't suggest it first, it's wrong. Like some of those situations, because I think Brice Butler could have helped our offense greatly. Like, if you go look what Brice Butler did in 2017, he was 4th in the NFL in deep ball passes, catching the ball from one Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Brice Butler, because the first time that Dak Prescott ever led the NFL in anything passing related was the first 4 games of 2017 when he had Brice Butler. You know what I'm saying? And they was connecting. Like, they were connecting. You know what I'm saying? So, I honestly, this is my conspiracy theorist. I think Dak vocalized his opinion on, like, yo, I need something because I'm not comfortable. So they got something that he was comfortable with, but Scott Linehan is like, I still control. I still control what happens, because if you think about it, think about this. You signed a guy after he berated your team on national TV, brought him on your team, which then made your team look like a mockery, and the fact that he said that he wasn't going to come back unless he was starting, to have him not active 2 of those games.
Yeah. So I would definitely
somebody was making a point, bro. Somebody was making a point. You don't F with me. That was the point somebody was making. Right. I don't care what nobody say, and I'm gonna ask Brice when I see him.
And the tea leaves was clear that we didn't like the weapons we saw after the Panthers game. Like, some people say we didn't like Dak. No. Jerry was mad about the weapons. That's when he sat down with Beyonce at the Beyonce concert with Dez.
Yeah, 4th and 1, you're throwing 4th and 3, you're throwing it to Delonte Thompson, a guy that you had just cut. And think about this, you cut Thompson. We cut Thompson and brought him back because we signed him for 2 years, and then we cut him.
I would say Brice Butler would probably be a candidate. I would say Rico Gathers is probably a candidate. Because obviously we don't know. We just kind of speculating. But based on what they said to James Slater, the players was looking at somebody when they made this comment.
Yeah.
That if he wasn't, so who was the players that they was looking at that played less? Let's look at the people that played less. Maybe Les Lenore. You see what I'm saying? It could be a number of players, and that's why I said in my article, I believe everybody should get a straight, clean slate.
Ooh, boss. You know what else, too?
Everybody should get a clean slate. We shouldn't be, I'm done with the Rico. I'm done with Les Lenore. I'm done with I'm done with Cedrick Wilson. I'm done with, no, you shouldn't be done with any of them.
Yeah.
Because right now, it's out there that the OC had favorites. So if it was an environment of favoritism, I experienced this at U of H. One of my good friends that played receiver named Key Core. He was a dog receiver, and he ran a 4.2. He was a state champion in Texas. Fast, bro. No reps on that former head coach. Didn't even see the field. He was no kiss butt. He never went into the coach's office to talk his way on the field like other people did. He just did his job. It was only until we got a new head coach, he exploded, bro, immediately. Charles is he's on the thread right now. He a witness to this. It's certain players that they don't even get a shot until you change your coaches.
Yeah, and that's why I dropped my video this morning on Rico Gathers, man, because I definitely believe that Rico Gathers is a product of the environment that he was involved in. You know what I'm saying? You had a tight end, and then think about it like this. Rico Gathers doesn't even really match the tight end that we had. Like, the tight end that we had was not known. Jason Witten is not known for the stuff that Rico does, and Rico is not known for the tight end that the stuff that Jason Witten does. So we can easily see how you could see all this talent on sitting right there. It's like if you don't know how to drive manual, and I say, hey, you want to drive this Lamborghini or you want to drive this Honda? If you don't know how to drive that a manual, you ain't even going to think to get that Lamborghini. Why? Because you don't know how to use it. And guess what? It's on you, not the car. So what I honestly think that's what's been happening with, and I'm gonna tell you something, and where I think that Rico's athleticism, his greatest strength, has been the reason he ain't been on the field. Because they don't know how to use them. I think Scott felt more comfortable using a standard tight end like Schultz. Because there's two situations on this team that are just 100% oblivious to me that I don't understand. Actually, there's been another one. Alfred Moore was one of my situations too. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know why he was even on the team. All right, so another thing. I don't understand why Jourdan Lewis is not playing over Anthony Brown, and I don't understand why every single time they speak of the tight ends group, they say Jason Witten is the mentor teacher, Schultz, and Jarwin. And I'm going to tell you guys this right now. You can say Jarwin is better than Rico. Okay, he had 3 touchdowns in the game. I'll credit it. There's no way in heck you're saying that Schultz is better than Rico and has more of an upside. None. Even though they talk about Schultz as if Schultz is equivalent to Jarwin. And we know that's not true.
No.
We know. I almost feel like they are telling them, do not say Rico's name. Because there's no way that you're out there and you see these 4 tight ends. And think about this. Think about this, Boss Cowboy. They're only doing things right now that show your athleticism. So if anything, this is a time where Rico's going to shine. You're not telling me he's faster than Schultz. You're not telling me he's catching the because they're not blocking defensive linemen right now. They're not doing that. They're catching passes. They're getting in and out of breaks. That's what they're doing. So it's like the fact that they don't even mention Rico and you only have 4 and you mention all 3, that lets me know something's going on, bro.
Exactly, man.
Like, I don't care what nobody says. Something's going on.
Yeah, something was definitely going on under Scott Linehan. And it's like everybody kind of sensed it, but when James Slater said it, it was like, oh my God, bro, like, damn. You know, and to your point, you're not comparing and saying that Rico is Witten. What you're saying is they have different games, and we have a coach at that time that didn't know how to use them.
Nope.
Excellent point, because you got to say the same thing with Ryan Switzer.
Yep.
When Ryan Switzer was drafted, he was drafted with Wes Walker measurables in terms of quickness.
Yeah.
His shuttle time was quicker than Welts, and everybody know Welts killed in the slot. Everybody know that he was uncoverable The only time they used Ryan Switzer was in the Philly game downfield. Other than that, they was taking his 4-5 speeds and running jet sweeps with him. You know, so it was a bad vision, bad reps, maybe personal. Even Ryan said when he left and went to the Raiders, he said, I think they looked at me like a running back.
Yeah.
I really laugh, man, but come on. That dude had elite quickness, man. And he the type of guy that you wanted in space. You didn't want him running jet sweep. That's why he killed it eventually in the punt return game, because he's electric in space. You're supposed to use him and find ways to get him downfield on mismatches. That's why when he first got his reps in Philly, he did his thing when Cole Beasley was hurt, you know? So everybody, in my opinion, deserve a clean slate. I'm not throwing away anybody, not even Lance Lenore at this point, you know, because I want to see them compete. I want to see them in an environment where the best man can now win, because your coach is not personal. Your coach is not petty, and your coach is not playing favorites and God, you know, because you know, I played, and everybody that's in even corporate America, we experienced this. How many times you been better than your counterpart, but the bosses favored them?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's happened to everybody at some point in their life.
At some point. So now spinning to Jourdan Lewis. One of the things that I'm loving that's coming out right now is I'm seeing he's winning the crowd. He's clearly winning the crowd. Now, I was listening to Brian Broaddus earlier, and Brian Broaddus said, now the first time I even heard something like this was me and you talking about it. Remember we were talking about potentially trading Byron Jones to move into the first? That was our idea a long time ago. Then obviously when he got hurt, that idea died, because nobody gonna want to injure player, right? Or somebody after surgery. But we said, you said it, I said it, it's not that big of a drop-off with Lewis at the starting corner and Byron Jones. Nope. Brian Broaddus said it 2 days ago. He said the exact same thing. He said, I see him on the level of Byron Jones. So you're not by yourself, West Coast. Boss Campbell not by himself anymore.
I'm gonna do what my grandma do. I'm gonna do what my grandma do, and I know she want me to do something for her, but she know it's hot outside, and she know I really want to say no, but she know if she bat her eyes like that, I'll be like, all right, grandma.
And Brian said something that was like, wow. Right? Now, we said it first. Me and you were the first I heard say this. But I've said this, and I know you said this, that us taking Lewis reps at the nickel last year stunted his second-year growth. And I heard Brian Broaddus say 2 days ago, we would have a better Lewis today. If we did not, for whatever reason, have this vision that Anthony Brown was just going to emerge.
Yep, and think about this. Not only did you think he was going to merge, you thought that he was going to get better than Jourdan Lewis, because Anthony Brown had to catch Jourdan Lewis first. Like, he had to catch him first, because like he wasn't better than Jourdan Lewis.
Never. I just finished cutting up the tape. I got every touchdown that was ever caused by Anthony Brown. I'm up to 12. I'm sorry, I'm up to 14.
Hey, I want to read this. I want to read this real quick, because I think this is Muy Uri Punte. This is what Byron Jones said. Now, remember, Byron Jones said hip surgery, and typically about hip surgery, I remember the first time he had his hip surgery, baby. He said, "I'll be back about week 1. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'm gonna just take a couple days off, get right." You know what I'm saying? So guess what happened? The Dallas Cowboys said, "Okay, Byron Jones, we ain't tripping. Go ahead, get better. We just gonna go draft a whole legion of corners 6 foot and above. Don't trip. Byron Jones, take as much time as you need." Byron Jones, and guess what? This is a 1 + 1 = 2. We can say we called this, but we ain't even gonna say we called it.
No, say it, bro.
We can say we called it.
You gotta say we called it, bro. We went out on a limb on this one. You gotta brag on this one, bro.
All right, well, let's just Just read the comment. Can we just read the comment, man?
Okay, good.
Let's just read the comment. It says, this is what he says. He says, but ultimately, this is Byron Jones speaking to the media. He says, but ultimately my goal isn't for Jones to be ready for the summer or even to make it back to the next week's 3-day minicamp. He is eyeing the start of training camp in late July as a true target date for his return. Now, it says definitely, hold up real quick. It says it's buffering. Hold up. Let me see if I can get some stuff off here.
Yeah, they can hear us. It's just buffering. Now I see it. I see it.
How we doing?
I see it. Man. I don't know
right.
how they go.
All right, so
I see it on my video.
all right, let me know if it's still buffering.
Just listen, because they can hear us. It's just they can't see it.
Okay, so it says he's eyeing the start of training camp in late July as a true target. Definitely wants to be back at training camp. Jones says, "I want to be back with my teammates and play the preseason games. That's the target." Now he says, and this is what the reporter said. The reporter said, and wow, damn, it says it's buffering. Why did I get buffering, God? Hold on.
Because you're on the internet, it happens almost every time.
How we doing? We good now? How we doing, y'all? Is it buffering still? Is it buffering still? We still got buffering? Okay, so yeah. So it says definitely went to the back of training. Definitely want to be back at training camp. Jody says, I want to be back. Here, I'm gonna just move this. Maybe this is the reason why it's doing it. I don't know. All right, how does it look now, you guys? Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch to that cable company. All right, so it says ultimately the goal is to return back to for June. He says definitely want to be back at training camp. Jones says I want to be back with my teammates and play in the preseason games. That's the target. And while many players come off surgery, we'll be more focused on getting back for the regular season opener against the Giants September 4th. Jones knows the importance of these offseason practices, and in fact, he already feels behind not being able to participate in OTAs. So my thing is this, man. Byron Jones was a all-pro corner last year, man. Why would he feel that he is behind the curve on anything?
Man, please close it out so we can stop buffering. I really can't wait to comment on this, man. This is the deal, bro. And I'm going to go ahead and brag on this because we talked about this one like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, something like that. We said exactly that this was going to happen. We said, because he said after his surgery that the target date for him to return was game 1. Okay? Yeah. That's what he said. West Coast and I said, I bet you $1 million that as soon as we start practicing, he gonna just emerge and say, I'm back. I'm ready to go. Because I've never felt, that his surgery was really as necessary as he said it was. I think his surgery was more so about a contract.
Yeah, man. I'm you know me, I'm 100 in agreement, man. You know, it's too many times when you have coincidences, too many coincidences, I say it's on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, when I see stuff like this, I definitely feel that it's on purpose. And I apologize for the buffering, man. We're going to get it right. That's all I'm going to say, man. Don't trip. Y'all keep rocking West Coast. We're going to get this thing right. Don't trip. You know what I'm saying? But, and I promise you it's going to be get right sometime within the next couple days. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't trip. I got you guys. But what it says to me, honestly, man, what it really says to me, honestly, is that Byron Jones feels the pressure, man. He feels the pressure of what Chris Richard is trying to do with these young guys, man. That's what I see. And it also sounds like to me that either his probably his agent was in his ear telling him, bro, like, look, you cannot miss any time with the Dallas Cowboys going into a contract season, because remember what they told Demarcus Lawrence. They told Demarcus Lawrence that the key, for him was that first year. So, I mean, if he wants to be on contract with the Dallas Cowboys, man, if he wants to have an opportunity to play for us, then he's going to have to figure a way to get back here soon. Like, he has to figure out a way to get here soon. You know what I'm saying? And it has to be sooner than later. It has to be sooner than later, too, because, bro, like, the Dallas Cowboys are excited about what you did with them. But at the same time, I think that the Dallas Cowboys they understand what they were able to do with Coach Chris Richard. Like, that's what I think it is, and that's what it should be. If you have a coach that's able to make you some corners that can save you some money, then that's the goal of the offense. I mean, that's the goal of your team. That's the goal of your team. It's to do that. I don't know why it's so lagging behind.
Well, I'll tell you this. You got to remember when he had his surgery. He had his surgery when there was a bunch of leaks coming out about corner being what? A sneaky knee. Remember they was coming out?
Yeah.
And every week they was coming out. The week he had his surgery is the week they were saying corner is a sneaky knee. And then they was talking about that Byron and Jourdan Lewis could possibly be shocked. And so as soon as he had his surgery, he was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, and because to me, they was leaking now before the draft that we are potentially open for this, and they believe in Christian Charles to the point where they were saying, in my opinion, we'll move on from Byron because we like what we already have depth-wise, in terms of Lewis, in terms of, Anthony Brown, obviously Wuze, and then bringing on these new guys that they was believing in the draft board. It put, to me, Byron on the bubble. But this is all a good problem because now Byron is feeling the pressure, and I love it because now Byron knows he can't just be a cover guy. He can't be a guy that's just waving off incomplete passes and catches. Now you got to be the guy to go get the ball. You got to get turnovers. If you're going to be a Dallas Cowboy, they're not going to pay you top-rate corner dollars if you're not getting the ball. You're not going to be able to have 0 turnovers at corner with Michael Jackson, with Chris Westry, with Lewis, with Anthony Brown, and with Wuze still on the team. You just not. So it's a good pressure and it's good competition.
Yeah, man, I'm in total agreement, man. I'm in total agreement, man. But we got a bunch of people that's saying they're not hearing the feed, and we're well over an hour, man. So, we're gonna end it on that note, man. I apologize for that, man. I'm gonna try to refocus and get back up in here, man, and try to see what the hell is going on. It always seems like it always fluctuates and stuff like that, so I apologize for that. But we will get better, and the Dallas Cowboys will get better. And man, Boss Cowboys, you want to let them know anything before you get up out of here, man?
No, man, not today. I'm going to just let them make it because they ain't hearing it anyway.
Absolutely, man. You already know what it is, man. Never look down because the stars up.